Don't look at me like that. I'll start when I'm damn ready to start.
We'll start this episode when we're damn well ready to start.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Words Are Hard show. As always, it's Alex, it's Mike, it's Greg. We're here. We're ready.
That's
we got
right.
the randomizer.
We got the randomizer loaded up with a shit ton of topics. Let us know down in the comments any of the topics you'd like to hear along with a request. If that topic is drawn, we'll try to do that request to the best of our abilities. Let's get to it.
Give us as many topics as you can. Spin the wheel.
Shut up.
I'm always going to say spin the wheel. I don't care what you say.
This is my topic. We're going to talk about comedy.
Comedy?
Yeah, that's right.
Something that Mike knows nothing about.
The opposite of what we do.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you two.
We're just so on right now, yeah.
That was really funny. That was beyond expectation. Comedy.
So
So
elaborate a little. What do you mean?
Well, what I wanted to talk about in terms of comedy was where comedy is in terms of current social issues, I guess. So I wanted to make comedy not funny anymore.
Sure.
No, I wanted to talk. I'm a big fan of like stand-up comedy and traditional comedy like that, and comedy shows and stuff. But things have certainly changed with specific social issues and you know, don't want to trigger anybody, right? But comedy versus political correctness has gone in a weird direction lately, and stuff like that, and has certainly changed.
I've never been one to worry about political correctness. I don't think.
well, I mean, but society as a whole is. What I mean is
No,
like
I know what you mean.
is like I was listening to like there's an old bit by George Carlin, who used to say he used to say a lot of shit that was politically incorrect, but one of the things that stood out is he said a faggot is a person who won't go downtown with you to beat up the gays. And fuck, that's funny because that's beyond your expectation. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And but like that would never fly these days.
No.
Do you think it should?
Yeah. If you can't joke about something, then it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, I think I don't remember who it was. It might have been Jimmy Carr, or somebody like that who said, or Louis C.K. who said, you know, if either everything's on the table or nothing is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
Like I guess in trying times, comedy seems more necessary because you're shining a spotlight on things that are absurd. You know what I mean? And people are like, we can't make fun of, you know, we can't make jokes about President Trump because some people are really upset about that. And it's like, well, maybe they need to turn around and laugh about it for a little bit to make themselves, you know,
Sure.
Because, you know, comedy's not going to change the world, but it can take us out of things for a minute and allow us to.
See, the way that George Carlin did comedy, a lot of his stuff I found was just kind of common sense, right? Like, it was something that I guess you don't really think about too often, and then when you do, it's like kind of an aha moment.
Observational humor.
Exactly. It was more of a...
But he did it in such a way that, like, again...
It could be construed as like a TED Talk instead of comedy, to be honest.
When you talk about shining a spotlight
Sure.
on things, George Carlin probably shined the biggest spotlight on most of the
He did,
society,
yeah. I mean, you know, as an atheist, he called out the religious community, but he made common sense of, like, of his views, that he made it so, like, oh, well, that's something that pretty much anyone can get behind.
Well, the thing is like, the other day I heard a joke by Jimmy Carr who said, you know, I used to be religious, but I let go of that. He's like, so, you know, he said, we're not so different. I just grew out of my imaginary friends. And even as a religious person, you can't look at that and be like, oh, what did he just say? You can look at it and say, oh, he believes that what I believe in is imaginary, and made this joke that went in this. You know what I mean? Like,
sure,
and
yeah.
you can break it down.
Well, today's society is way too easily offended. I mean, you get these social justice warriors all over the place saying that's not politically correct. I actually had a situation like at work, one of the guys I was talking to said like, he was like walking through the door, or he was like he knocked on the door and the door opened and he said, "Yeah, this is for Mr. Tracy," and this woman answered the door just as he was saying that, and she's like, "Did you just assume my gender?" And I was
that.
floored. I didn't think that this was actually happening because I hadn't heard anyone say it seriously, but she actually said, "Did you just assume my gender?" After
I've heard
saying
it seriously.
Mr. Tracy. I'm like, this can't be a thing. So I mean, the fact that everyone's so politically correct and so professionally offended at everything
Yeah.
because they think that it affects them, it is astounding.
If
and
I was
it's-
that delivery guy, I would have made a comment something like, "No, I didn't assume your gender. I assumed they printed the label properly."
wow,
Or improperly.
or probably yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like just stuff like that, and it was just.
Yeah.
I can't believe that that's a thing. So I mean, people like that who are professionally offended at everything.
At the same time, I guess, maybe that same person
Sure.
has a sense of humor if they were to go to a comedy show and they were to hear a joke about the assumption of gender, that they would laugh at it because they're there with the expectation to laugh.
Sure.
But when a delivery person shows up, they don't expect. The delivery person's not showing up trying to be funny. You
No.
know what I mean?
I
So,
don't
like,
think I believe that because I don't think any social justice warrior has a sense of humor.
that's not true. I think that
I'm not assuming your gender now. I'm assuming your humor level.
When you
I
go
think-
into
I
a
think
comedy
everybody
show,
has a sense of humor.
when you go into a comedy show, though, you have to turn off your brain and say, "I'm here to laugh at the flaws of society." Shared experiences. I'm here to
And Alex knows all about flaws.
exactly. So you got to turn that off if you're going to go into if you're going into a comedy show and you're not prepared to be potentially offended, then fuck
Yeah,
off. Don't go to the
You
show.
have to expect it.
You have
Like,
to expect to be offended in some way, shape, or form.
And they draw their material from realities, right? I mean, I keep going back to Jimmy Carr, but
Sure.
like he was doing this talk on Green Room with I think Tim Minchin was
Tim
there.
mentioned it was there.
And Tim said to him, he goes, your show is always going to be relevant. We'll never run out of material. And Jimmy's like, why's that? And Tim was like kind of shied away from the camera, and he just goes, because people will always rape. Because he got in a lot of shit for the rape joke that he made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he's like, and it's like, oh, okay. So is it okay to make a joke about somebody who made a joke about, you know what I mean? Like if you're offended by the rape joke, are you okay with making a joke about somebody who made rape? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I'm pretty sure that everyone can agree on one thing: is that rape is bad.
yeah.
And joking about the fact that I can't remember the joke specifically that Jimmy Carr told, but it was like, oh wow, that's a little far.
Yeah.
But if you can't joke about things to try to bring to light the fact that this is an issue, what's the point of comedy in the first place?
Yeah, I think it breaks down things so that you're not scared of it anymore.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you want to make a joke about a super heavy topic, and people
Like
will
me?
like people are scared of the idea.
Alex, see,
It just clicked. Sorry, carry
Oh,
on.
heavy. Okay.
super heavy
okay.
topic.
Yep. Wow. First time Greg didn't go right for the gutter, right for my fucking throat with a rape.
I knew
with
I
a
didn't have to
fat
because I
joke.
knew you'd bring it up for me.
Anyway,
Um,
yeah.
But I mean, like, let's say like abuse, like it's a scary thing,
Sure.
and then somebody in a comedy club makes a joke about abuse, then suddenly people are laughing about it. It's not that they don't take it seriously; it's that now they're kind of saying, oh, "Okay, this is a thing that's been introduced into my life, and I have a certain level of understanding about it, and I can." I think people would be more prone to address it or bring it up because they're like, oh, that was so absurd that he would say a joke like that, that it could never happen in real life, and if they did, they would take it more seriously because of the level of absurdity.
So there's I guess I'll start this part out by saying this.
I feel like that statement almost made sense, by the way.
Yeah. So as far as comedy is concerned, I'll back it up. So in today's world, I feel like there's a lot more people that are depressed nowadays, or who have actually been diagnosed with clinical depression. I mean, that might just be because years ago said, people would just say, "Oh, stop being a pussy, stop being sad."
I think that's what it is more
like,
so than it's
maybe. But
I think literally when people say that things happen more nowadays than they used to, I think that
it's because the public has been conscious of what these issues
I think
are.
that nothing happens more than it used to, other than the use of cell phones and things that didn't exist.
Sure.
I think the only thing that happens more is the fact that we have the internet to connect us all. The only reason why we think more people in the world are depressed is because we're sitting online and we can see that people all around the world are screaming that they're depressed. But back in the day, when your social bubble was the size of the city that you were in, because there was no communications going outside of that,
Sure.
randomly, then you're like, not that many people are depressed. I know Steve and Ted are depressed out in town, but that's about it. But you don't know about the millions of others.
True.
And then you find out about the millions of others because we're all connected via the internet. So I don't think anything happens more. I think we're just more aware of it on a
that tells
global
me that
scale.
the internet is a terrible, terrible thing, and we should do away with it.
No, and to be honest,
shit.
that's a perfect segue, because there's comedian Bo Burnham, who he has a couple of specials on Netflix, one of which is called Make Happy. And it's all kind of meta in a sense that Bo Burnham has this character that he puts on, and it's astounding how he can keep that character and keep going with the show. But with Make Happy, the whole show is basically about trying to stay positive in a world that's otherwise just depressing and awful. Did you watch Make Happy by chance? No. I highly recommend watching it. It's truly meta and kind of gets you thinking about your own life and how to kind of improve it. It's I don't know, like there's some religious I guess jokes that are in there, or one song is about the perspective of God. It's basically I think the very first line is the books you think I wrote are way too thick. Who needs 1,000 metaphors to figure out you shouldn't be a dick? Like, and he goes on. He's like, if you're looking to religion for approval from someone, or if you're looking to, try to get happiness from religion, stop.
Yeah.
I guess try getting into religion to try to make the world a better place. If you're looking for my love, try to spread love and get the love out there, and you'll get that back. It's a comedy special that's way too meta, or a lot more meta than it should be. But it's still a great listen. Just watch it. Just do yourself a favor and watch Bo Burnham Make Happy.
Do you guys have like a favorite comedian?
For me, it's a toss up between 4 people. One guy who's not really all that relevant anymore, Stephen Lynch, who's a singing comedian. Tim Minchin, who is now doing stuff on Broadway and not so much stand-up stuff. Jimmy Carr, and Jim Jeffries.
See, I don't watch a lot of stand-up comedy, so I couldn't pinpoint. And
Well,
say,
you could still list comedians. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing. I don't really know. Like, I recognize the names you guys are saying.
what about a comedy actor? Like in movies, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's still a comedian.
I suppose.
To a point, yeah.
So who would I find funny as a funny actor?
Can we all just cross Will Ferrell off the
from
list
this
just
spot.
right off the
I
bat?
love Will Ferrell.
Fuck Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you both.
You keep jumping on this fuck Will Ferrell bandwagon because it's popular to hate on him now.
Yeah.
No, he's
But,
just not funny.
He's
Okay.
hilarious.
I haven't found him funny. Like the last movie that I watched that
Stop watching
He was
his movies.
okay
go,
with.
Go back and watch his SNL skits. Anyway,
He was great in SNL.
he's really good in SNL. I mean, like, there was something weird about how SNL now kind of sucks for me. But back then, like, it made shitty actors really, really hilarious. Like Will Ferrell was funny when he was on there. I'm not gonna say that. Like, I love Will Ferrell movies, but I'm not gonna say he's a good actor.
But that's the point. He
I
doesn't need
hate
to be a
Adam
good
Sandler
actor.
movies, but he was amazing in SNL. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
well,
like,
Adam Sandler was an amazing comedian in the first place because he didn't have preset jokes, right? He would just go on the stage and he would wing most of it. His movies are terrible though.
my favorite is well, I used to watch those sketch comedy shows all the time, and I used to watch Mad TV when I was a kid.
I love
because
Mad TV.
You know, I liked the era with Bobby Lee and Keegan Michael Key and stuff like that. It was.
Did you watch the Key and Peele show?
No, but looking back, like 90% of it was just yelling to be funny. And, like, I was at the age where I was like, that is funny. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah.
He said poop.
Yeah, he screamed. But do you remember In Living Color?
Yep.
Fuck, that shit was good.
I never really liked In Living Color.
Really? I loved it with
and I think that's why I never really liked Jim Carrey.
Oh, fuck. That was my favorite, and I can't even name a bit from, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to recall some of them, but I just remember thoroughly enjoying it and liking him on there. When he did that Ice Ice Baby parody, that shit was hilarious. Do you guys have, like, a favorite joke by a comedian? Well, I guess my favorite comedian would be Louis C.K. I forgot to mention that.
I do like Louis C.K.
He's too real. He's too, like, instead of like most comedians as I know them, if they saw something weird in public, they would kind of get up on a soapbox and be like, "What the fuck is this?" You know what I mean? Where Louis C.K. is so
pretty good
real.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Where except Seinfeld doesn't swear. where Louis C.K. would be like sitting in public and he'd see something weird and he wouldn't stand up. He'd just lean back and be like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's so like he's just a dad that they gave a microphone to, and he's just like, "I don't get it." And that's pretty much.
That's why I can relate.
You can melt him right down to him not understanding the world.
Jerry Seinfeld is actually one of those comedians that I absolutely hate.
Yeah,
that's why
I go back to saying I never liked the Seinfeld show.
No,
I didn't get it. I didn't find it funny.
I'm not a fan of him as an actor or a comedian, but the things that he did for comedy were
okay.
He
Sure,
did nothing.
Sure, that's okay. But he did a sit down with Ricky Gervais and a few other comedians, I guess.
Yeah, he did there was a whole special with Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock, and Louis C.K.
That's exact. Yes. So they did the sit down, and one of the topics was, when do you retire a bit? And Jerry was the only person to say, "I will run a bit into the ground. I will if it's funny, if it keeps getting laughs, I will run it into the ground until it's no longer
he'll
funny."
He'll write a bit and he'll do whatever. Louis C.K. said that he'll write an hour, and he'll do a special with that or a tour with it,
and he'll retire it and never do it again.
And then he throws it away. Yeah, and just writes a new hour.
That's how it should be.
Chris Rock writes like a new 3 hour every fucking time.
Chris Rock is an amazing
that guy
comic,
gets
but
up
he's
and he just drips sweat, and he's just like, "Oh, black people and white people are different," and he's just like fucking sweating for 3 hours, just killing it.
But and that's the thing, his comedy's gold, but he doesn't get as much he's hated now, isn't he?
The problem is that he's more of a character than he is.
It is true, yeah.
So people have used him to the point because he has a unique voice and he has a way to present himself type of thing, and you know.
So I kind of want to circle back to you mentioned, because we didn't answer it at all, we just kind of glazed over it. Favorite joke.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that Bo Burnham does, like just kind of in passing, like with audience callouts, right? He has a bit. It's a poem called "I Fuck Sluts," which I know I'm not gonna do it. Don't freak out,
We've
Greg.
heard it too many times.
Exactly. So
it's not funny anymore.
It
So
wasn't funny when it was first done.
no, so he does.
Tried to give him
He
the
does.
benefit of the doubt.
He does "I fuck sluts," and then like, at the first one, there's always people that like they know it, and then they scream, right? Like these girls, they're like, ah.
Those are the
he's
sluts
like,
he's talking about.
he's like, it's not a roll call, but thanks. Or there's one girl that says, "I want your babies." He's like, "I'm keeping them." Like just little call outs like that. But then there's Jimmy Carr's most offensive joke. That's probably one of the best things that's
The most offensive joke he's ever written.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to try to recite
Oh
it?
yeah. Well, I just watched it the other day a few times.
You can probably recite
I
it
was
better than I
watching
can.
Paul Provenza's Green Room for the past little while, but he said if only we could send more mosquito nets to Africa, we can save millions of mosquitoes dying needlessly of AIDS.
Which is pretty bad.
Yeah, and everyone's like, whoa. And then I remember Eddie Izzard, who's getting into politics at this point, was like, that's a beautiful joke. And it was like, you're gonna try to be the mayor of London.
See, I guess I'm a little too literal because I don't find it funny because my first immediate thought is, but AIDS doesn't affect mosquitoes.
You're overthinking
It's just
it.
funny because it's a very
I know.
it's a very classic formula of just like expectation different.
Yeah.
Exactly.
joke.
Yeah.
My favorite one is Louis C.K. when he's talking about God, how he said that like it's like God created Earth and stuff, and he turns his back for a second, and he turns back around and he goes, "What the fuck did you do?"
Yeah, what did you guys do?
And they were like, and he's just like, "What is this? Where's the polar bears?" They were like, "Oh well, you know, the ice caps melted. Why? Well, because we sucked all the oil out of the ground. Why did you do that?" And he's just like, "Well, because I needed cars to drive places." He's like, "What the fuck's a car?"
Yeah.
And then he's
I
like,
gave you
he's
2
like-
feet for a reason.
He's like, he's like, "Where are the animals?" And it's like, "Well, we ate them." What the fuck? He goes, "I left all this food on the ground."
On the ground.
He's like, "I left corn literally everywhere. Why did you eat the animals?" Just God, just like not understanding. He's just like, "Here's this gift," and we were just like, "Fuck it."
Fuck it. We're gonna do our own thing.
And we did everything wrong.
No, I mean,
the sad part is that it's essentially the story of the Bible, though. Talking about God does all this stuff for us, and then we just run it into the ground.
We're like, fuck, what's an iPhone? I don't understand why you need this.
uh,
I don't know. Lessons learned on that.
lessons learned.
Before
is
we
a-
steal any more jokes.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no. Shout out. We'll give a shout out to all those comedians.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna really appreciate that.
Exactly.
They're
Yeah.
watching right now, I'm sure.
No.
I'd love that.
Lessons learned. There needs to be more comedy in the world and less people who are professionally offended at shit. If you're going to a comedy show, expect to be offended. Just forget it. Don't be offended. Just that's my lessons learned. Fuck offended people.
My lesson learned is that Alex rambles.
A lot.
It's not really a lesson learned because I've known that all along.
Oh yeah. I mean, the biggest lessons learned is that I don't know. You gotta laugh once in a while because fuck you, that's funny.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode of the Words Are Hard show. Let us know in the comments below who you think is the funniest comedian, or more importantly, who's the funniest of the three of us, because I'd personally like to know that. As always, we have all our social media links down below. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the fun stuff, all the stuff the kids are doing these days. We still sell our shirts down below. You can get my mug put on your mug. It's a joke I stole from Mike earlier that he forgot to record. If you want to subscribe to us, click on the link over there between Alex and Mike. And if you want to watch one of our previous videos, probably the previous video to this one, click this link right here. Thanks for watching.